In the world of today, being able to network is like being able to do a dance that has a delicate balance of the art of communication, the art of connection, and the art of charisma. And for many people, just the idea of this creates so many invisible hurdles, the fears, the mental barriers. All of these come in the way of leveraging opportunities that just lie within the grasp of their hands. Imagine a conference hall, a networking event full of potential people from around the world, all range of experiences come together. And in that room, now imagine so many capable, highly capable individuals paralyzed by their inner fear dialogue, self doubt, the fear of rejection, the anxiety of not being interesting enough, feeling intimidated by looking at people who may be far more successful, amazing individuals, and the dread, the idea of stepping out of their comfort zone. All these mental barriers create an invisible wall between them and the opportunities that lie just ahead, waiting to be leveraged. That's the reality of a networking world today. Now, it is so important to note that the impact of these fears, of these mental barriers, is not just limited to a person, to an individual, to their personal world. It ripples through their professional life as well. It affects the career trajectories, the success of their business, both in short term and long term. And overcoming these fears is not just about personal courage and change, but it's about unlocking the full potential that includes personal and professional success. So today, let's delve into these fears, understand their roots, and uncover practical strategies to win over them. The goal today is to understand how can we go to transforming networking from being a daunting task to an empowering and enriching experience. So let's get started with this. Welcome to a new episode of our enlightening journey. My name is Paritosh. I'm your host and navigator in this intricate world of professional networking. With years of experience, I've realized that the most significant connections are the ones that we actually make with ourselves and not with other people. So today, this podcast is not just going to be about networking. It's going to be so much more. We're going to go into psychological aspects that hold us back from exploring the full potential. Explore the fears and the mental barriers, understand their roots, learn how to overcome them, all of that packed into one podcast. If you've ever felt nervous or you've second guessed yourself before entering a networking event and an opportunity, right, then this episode is for you. So let's embark on this journey together and set the stepping stone for our success. But before we begin, I want to invite you to an exciting opportunity, my Activate Your Network webinar. This webinar is not a place where I just teach, but I invite you to transform your entire approach to networking, overcome the anxiety of networking into excitement, and this becomes a playground of possibilities, literally. The link to register for this webinar is in the description below. Do check that out. Living with these fears of networking, just being okay with them being there or ignoring them, has significant professional repercussions. You see, at core, networking is a mechanism for professional success and opportunity discovery. But when the fear of networking takes over, an individual is left at a considerable disadvantage. And the effects are beyond just missed connection that may seem at first. The lost opportunities that did not come to us, did not come to you because of the fear, could have been pivotal in your success. I use a term called invisible loss. It's a loss that you did not know happened, and that's why it's so easy to live with this loss. But consider the impact of such fears in a tangible setting. Imagine a business event where the air is thick with potential connections, opportunities, and knowledge. And in such a situation, those who are hampered by fear are often left on the periphery. They're just standing out, observing, watching. The hesitation leads to missed chances to connect with influential individuals, potential mentors, collaborators, business opportunities, career jumps. And all of this has a compounding effect. It just keeps getting worse over time. We don't realize this, but professional circles and industries often operate on the power of networks, introductions, and referrals. And being a passive participant, or worse, a non-participant, could so many times mean that you're getting overlooked for future opportunities or even current opportunities that people may have. And more than that, it stifles the personal development. Networking is equally about personal and professional growth. And avoiding of networking due to fear can also lead to diminished self-confidence. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, a vicious cycle, where one thing just leads to another and to another and to another. Look at it. The fear causes us to avoid networking, and avoiding networking reinforces the fear in our psychology, and over time, it starts to erode one's self-esteem. Overcoming networking fears is about embracing growth opportunities, both in the personal and the professional world. This is so important to understand, that networking is not just professional as most of the world sees it. Right? It has a significant impact on our personal journey as well. The fears of networking are deeply rooted in psychological barriers, such as the fear of rejection, the social anxiety, the imposter syndrome, where we feel that we're not really who we are, we're not as good as we are, and we may get exposed as a fraud. All of these can significantly impede professional success, professional progress, professional growth. These fears, while they're extremely common, they're not invincible. I want you to know this, that you can win over them. But to do so, we have to understand their origin. That is the key. The fear of rejection comes largely from past negative experiences, lack of self-confidence in one's abilities. These are the two key areas. Social anxiety comes from not feeling adept in social situations, where one feels, yeah, I'll go there, but I'm not really sure whether I'll be able to have conversations. Look at this. I want to share this. There's a Harvard Business Review article that talks about networking can feel inauthentic and morally contaminated to many people, which shows that there's a deeper psychological discomfort with the process of forming professional connection. That's why people are feeling inauthentic and morally contaminated. And this originates from misunderstanding of networking in itself, what is networking, and its importance in one's professional growth. There's another research that reinforces one point, that these fears, they can be tackled. This was a study in the Journal of Social Psychology and Personality Science, which said that's just the act of saying hello to a stranger. Right? You're passing by in the hall, right, like this. You look at when eyes meet. If you just say hello, that increases person's happiness and a sense of connection, which means that the risk of networking often outweighed by its benefits. And that also proves that networking is a skill that can be learned. If you start gradually exposing yourself to networking gradually, the fear can start getting diminished. And when you start seeing networking as an integral part of your success, that helps, because this shift in perspective that what is networking's role in your success is absolutely crucial in overcoming the fears. Now, to overcome the fears of networking, there's a multifaceted approach that is necessary. Let's look at some of those steps. Number one, set realistic goals. Set small goals. Whenever you have to attend an event, don't expect that you're going to go own the room, right? Just think that I want to go have a couple of good conversations. That's number one. Start small. Number two, preparation and research are key. Whenever you feel that you know what you can expect, it can actually reduce the anxiety that you feel when you're entering a hall versus if you know nothing and you just show up, which is how a lot of people do that. Don't do that. And when you reach there, Focus on others. Shift the focus from yourself to others. Make it a priority to get to know other people. Then practice in comfortable settings. When you're starting off, don't just go to the biggest, baddest event that you can find. Go to the event that you're comfortable at. It could be a party, it could be a small gathering. Start there. Then embrace the learning curve. Understand that perfection is not the goal. Learning is, and the change is going to take time. And there's no rush. You've got whole life ahead. You've got a whole business and career ahead. So take time. Mindfulness and positive affirmations are essential. Anytime you're feeling nervous, observe what are you feeling and say positive things to yourself. That really helps, as cliched as it may sound. That really helps. And then take feedback and mentorship. Talking to people who've been there, done that really helps. All of these put together, step by step, move us closer to becoming a more confident and effective networker. Understand this. Overcoming fears is essential for personal and professional growth. These networking fears, we're not supposed to be living with them, and we have a way out. It requires understanding the psychological roots where these fears are coming from. It's essential to know that these fears are common and they can be overcome through practice, through the strategies we've discussed, through change in perspective. And the strategies include realistic goals, preparing for events, focusing on others, practicing in comfortable settings, embracing the learning curve, being mindful, using affirmations, and seeking feedback from people who are good at networking. Know this, that every small step matters and contributes to overall success. This journey of transformation is possible. It needs a little bit of persistence, a little bit of practice, and know that things get easier over time.